Your host John with my bestie Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. I missed you. I haven't seen
Oh,
you in a
miss
minute.
you too. You were off partying without me. That's the way it goes.
Well, you got to come on family vacation with us next year. That's all that
Hey,
means.
there you go. Done. I
Could
can
use a
babysit.
sitter. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. Dude. I'll absolutely walk around the beach with your kid. It'll be great. People
perfect.
be
Can't
people
wait.
will be like, "Oh, look at that nice granddad. Look how sweet."
Do you
That's what they'll
think?
do.
No,
Your
no
dad's the
way.
nicest.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone listening, Dex Hopkins is joining the show tonight. Dex, how are you?
Oh man, we're so good. It's bedtime. Kids went to sleep.
Yep.
that is
Just
that's the best time of night, even when they're 20.
when it starts popping around here. Yeah, you're right. No, we're good, man. We're great.
Yeah.
I'm moving on up the leaderboard. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm in my second stage of
Hey,
babydom, by the way, because my oldest is a gamer, stays up all night long playing video games. So it's like having a baby again. It's like 3 a.m. I hear and they're screaming. Yeah.
That's how my brother was. He was a rager, but that was before it got cool. Like I've never been so happy that growing up that we didn't have the internet hooked up to that stuff. So
but you don't have to go in there. That's the difference, John. Is when she's screaming at 3 a.m. You're like, she's got this.
No, but what she's screaming is far worse than what a baby's screaming. Let me tell
yeah,
you, there's some serious f bombs coming
a
out
lot
of
of
it.
enunciation on that with the headset.
Yeah, they shout some lovely things at each other playing video games. It's great.
What does she play?
Amazing.
Everything you name
Yeah.
it, she plays it. But it's a lot of shooters, like Valorant and what's the other one, Fortnite and all of those. So
My eyes don't work fast enough for that. Xander tried to get me to play Call of Duty way back, and I was like, "Look, dog, I've never felt so old, and I do CrossFit. Never felt so old as I do right now. Like my eyes don't work this fast."
I can't. I really can't enter the chat because I'm like a closet gamer. And yeah, whoops. And like a super nerd. I think because I had an older brother. My brother's 9 years older than me. So like growing up, he was very much my influence. And so like he got me good at video games like early on. And now my husband won't play with me anymore because he's sick of losing and I don't ever let him win. So he's like, this isn't fun. I'm not having fun. Like
What do
I
y'all
never
play?
win. Well, like now we just play stupid party games like Mario Kart. Like when friends come over, we'll play like Nintendo or something. Yeah.
Don't you blaspheme the name of Mario Kart.
Well, all I'm saying is no one else will play with me anymore.
That's impressive though, because I don't know. Like that's why I asked what John's daughter played. I don't know many girls that play. Like I just don't.
True. Yeah. The gamer world and the streamer world, especially too, is definitely like male dominated. John's daughter is like such goals. Like she's so cool. I just want to be friends with her, but like I'm too old.
I keep trying to talk her into figuring out a career in gaming. I'm like, come on,
yeah,
like,
hell yeah.
Whether it's programming or testing or who the hell knows what, just like go find something you love it so much. Just go do what you love.
So I'll start taking gamer PEDs.
Yeah, there. Next thing you know,
finger
steroids popped.
Yeah, get the eyeball. I don't know what you take for that.
I wonder if they test those guys. I bet they do. Professional gamers. You think they get tested?
No, I don't.
When we left UK, they had just instituted this thing and like renovated a massive building to like allocate it for e-gamer scholarship people, athletes, if you will. And if you won't, give it the times. But yeah, so it's a thing. I don't know what kind of stuff goes into that.
Man, if you think CrossFitters can't pass a drug test, wait till you get a bunch of gamers in the same room.
Yeah. They probably bring it with them. It's probably like a Woodstock type deal, just a cloud.
There's rolling joints getting ready to take the piss test.
Bro, I play Mortal Kombat way better, blazed out of my mind. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, we talking drugs tonight, people. All the drugs.
That's all the drugs.
That's
what's a rough week.
That's what's popping.
Yeah, it is definitely popping. How many?
Tex, I like your name change real quick. Just
well, I like to be clear. clear.
Of course.
Dex Hopkins, non-PED athlete. I like that too.
Yeah, non-PED. But yeah, I don't know. It's a wild time. You know what? It makes me wonder is like as they keep rolling them out because it's a record year and all that good stuff. But knowing they use a third party, like. How long do they keep the names tucked, right? Because, I mean, using the third party tells me you want the names and to be able to do whatever you want to with them.
Right.
And versus like using WADA, who everybody that fails is getting blasted.
Right.
And so I wonder if they do – because I've seen people – like I played ball in college. They do that, right? Like I'm going to test 10 guys. Probably, kickers getting thrown under the bus. Everybody else, slap on the wrist. And like, so I wonder if that's a thing with this because they use a third party, you know, because you pay
Well,
for it.
As an
let
athlete,
me
is
ask
that
you.
a trust thing for you? You're like worried that CrossFit's protecting some and not others?
I mean, worry, dude. I go and get 22nd. Like, I'm a solid shoe in to go and be there and put on a show for at least the lift. But so it's never concerned me. If I
Right.
was people I'm good buddies with, like Noah, Chandler, and people like that, and Marquand, like we've been talking about it for days, I'd be pissed, right? If it was my living.
Right.
And, you know, your living is, hey, I'm going to qualify for the games, right? Like that's the going and doing cool. Like that's kind of depends on the programming. Everybody there is really fit. But yeah, if I was a top 10 on the cusp athlete, I'd be furious, man. Especially like Austin Spencer. Like I've watched Austin grind this stone for years. And, you know, like he's seen Caroline qualify, see her qualify again at the same event after they get married, which is awesome. And then you're on the outside looking in again. You got to get your heart broke to go through that emotional roller coaster. And then you don't get to stand on the floor, get your name called. Because, like, that stuff's special, dude. Like, 2015, boo-hooed on the floor. Don't care who was there. 17, boo-hooed. And, you know, same thing in Ireland. That was the only one I've ever won when you had to. But, like, that's a moment that's attached to it, right? Like, it's a big deal to have your name called, and it's a thing. And so you steal that from people. And, you know, Pat Vellner talks about it when Ricky popped. So, I mean, you're stealing moments from people. And, like, I'm not one that's too concerned about it athletically because I kind of, like The Rock said, I know my role and shut my mouth. But it's crazy, like, the amount of people that are rolling out. And I think it's going to get worse. Like, because I saw they updated the games roster with Austin's name before they had sent, like, the invite, I think. And so, I don't know. It'd be a wild time.
I'm wondering. So I have a lot of feelings about all this, and I'm wondering is it going to get worse? Like, is worse the way to look at it? Or in my mind, it's a little half and half because in my head, I'm kind of like, it's sort of good. Like, it shows that the drug testing is working. So in one respect, like, I don't know, I'm not glad to see people pop. I don't know how to phrase this appropriately, but like I'm glad to see that the system is
Accountability. You
catching
like the
people.
accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the system is catching the people who should never make it to the games. And so to me, I'm like, you know, people can be complaining that athletes in any sport are using, but we're catching them. So we're doing it right. That's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if there's like a silver lining in it, but I feel like that is part of it.
Well, the unique thing with our sport, right? Like baseball, what is it? You get a fine, maybe 2 games, right? Like I remember seeing people get popped.
They're like, yeah, we know,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Well, same thing in football, right? Like in I remember I used to love. I'll drop a name, John. I remember Bill Romanowski, psychopath. Like blatantly, his neck his trap started his ear, touched it. They couldn't wear a book bag. Just a guy shaped like a triangle, crazy.
Right.
Blatantly, could visually tell the guy took steroids. On top of, like, he would be bleeding from headbutting people with no helmet. Like, okay, cool. But you get a 2-game suspension or something like that. Like something just slap on the wrist. But ours, you know, bring it full circle. 2 to 4 years, dog. You're pretty much done. I mean, we've never seen that. This will be the first year we've seen somebody try to climb back up the hill. And but majority of people, you're done. I mean, that's a stamp it, like move on to like High Rocks or something else weird, you know,
Right.
like,
ooh.
Yeah, I did one. If anybody invites you to do that, they do not care about you and they want to see you suffer. Don't go.
Oh, because it's like mainly running. Plus,
if you thought of all the things Dex loves, it is none of that. It is the
right. Okay.
Stop it. It's silly, but yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a death sentence. Like, you can get on Instagram and put on your story, see y'all in 4 years. Dude, it's a lot of life happens in 4 years.
Yeah.
And how important can it stay to you when you know there's no season for you? Like, here's the thing I would like to see. If you pop, right? Like, say, and this will be the thing. A lot of people are going to come out with this stuff, right? Like, what's the incentive for me to stop? Hell, I can't do semis or the games. I'm going to keep taking this shit, and I'm going to go to Waterpalooza. I'm going to go to Dubai. I'm going to go everywhere, just try to win all this money. And you know, when it's time to cycle off and try to get back into CrossFit, I'll take that year and let it cycle out of my system.
Well, I would think if the event organizers have the opportunity to say, no, I'm sorry, you're not welcome here. So I don't necessarily think that would happen.
Yeah, but I've seen people saying it. That's the thing. Like I would love for them to say, hell no, you can't come, because we know.
Well, there should be some sort of standardized list. And, CrossFit releases a standardized list of here's all the athletes that are banned, and there's an expectation that the other events should be looking at it. Like that came up last year. I forget the athlete, but somebody who had failed a test, wouldn't competed, and it became a big stain on the organizers. I think organizers wouldn't want, popped athletes on there. I just wonder, is the penalty enough? Like, I know 4 years is a lifetime, but there's no, to your point, like they'll just go do something else and they may or may not come back, like Ricky. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is like, they always have the option. You got to fine them. And I think you fine them so let's say you still get the 4-year ban and put a $5,000 fine on it. Cause incidentally, that's what you get paid for first place at semis.
Touche.
Right. So you make it the same as,
and then use that money for more drug testing.
Well, you could.
This was my thing. I ran it for
that. You have to tell it whatever the fine is. I would make it $5,000, but you could make it 10. You could make it whatever, and you tell them your ban starts when you pay the money. It's a permanent ban until you pay the money. Once you pay the money, it's 4 years from then.
That's rough.
Wow,
yeah, but here's the thing, though, like,
John.
But that's like the juxtaposition of like, quote quote professional, right? Like, hey, I've already taxed your ass $70 before you got to register and spend $300 to go to semis. But now, like, hey, give me this $5,000 so you can start your suspension. When, like, you're done. Like, you're pretty much done. If Ricky, and I want to see him go and do well, because Ricky, like a lot of these people don't do, was like, hey, man, yeah, I took it. Thought I got off of it long enough for semis or regionals that year.
Well,
like, my bad.
Yeah, the bulk of athletes wouldn't pay that money, Dex. That's the point.
Yeah.
You want to get the cheaters out of the sport, and those that had a legit beef, because like tainted supplements is a real thing. I'm not going to let anyone off the hook for it, but it is a real thing. So if it happens, and let's say you got a 2-year ban, you're going to likely want to come back, and it was an accident anyway. So you definitely want to come back and redeem yourself. Those people will pay it.
Yeah, that's true.
The jerks in the world that are just cheaters, and arguably, to your point, it's a 4-year ban. They'll look up and go, I'll be 31 when this is done. I'm out. And they will never pay it, but they'll never come back.
I'm 33, homie. Come on.
Yeah, well, you don't look a day over 50. So,
well, oh, God. Well, like the tainted supplement thing, dude. Like, so I remember the first guy that popped was Richard Balkin, right? Or that they, did publicly. And I was pretty close to the guy. He was in the Misfit camp, me and a bunch of buddies were in back in the day. And I just remember thinking that was complete bullshit. Like, and I'll tell you why. It's because I'm a pre-workout junkie, like connoisseur even. Oh, junkie's an ugly word. Connoisseur. I love it. Big stimulant guy. Like, if you bring pre-workout in my house that says no stimulants, I'll punt it out of the front door like Jazzy Jeff on Fresh Prince. It's gone. But I always did team, right? And when the open started the week before, I'm done taking normal C4 dry scoops to the dome. We're on coffee and beta alanine. And I've done that as individual, except for now, like, I'll take the podium stuff just so I can blame Matt if I pop. And then, but like, I don't know. The tainted supplement thing was always bullshit to me. Like, cause I knew, like, hey, I've been hammering C4, maybe I'll pop because I take so much of it, but we're just not going to risk it. And that was the thing. But like, I don't know, man, it's tainted supplements is like a slippery slope to me. Like, I don't see testosterone floating through the air in a factory and dropping into my protein bucket.
Well,
like,
I don't disagree with you. I did a lot of research. I actually did research tonight for once. Can you believe it, Niki?
Hey, me too. No, me too. I did too.
And so one thing I looked up was, like, by percentage, like, how many supplements on the market are tainted, and it was a ridiculous note, like 84%. And all they're saying by tainted is they can't guarantee what's going in because
they can't guarantee that proprietary blend is what they say it is.
No, exactly.
Course,
and so
there's no regulation on that stuff. But what I don't understand is what benefit would a supplement company have to having those types of substances?
Oh, it works.
Well, I can answer that.
But if that company ends up on the list of tainted supplements, then they have zero credibility.
Yeah, but usually it's just people that like want to get jacked, right? Like, because most of the stuff most people have taken is what, word of mouth, right? And that's, hey man, took this, got super jacked. I mean, like one of the kids told that story. Oh, a buddy was doing blah 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 and did great, so he gave me this bag of stuff. I'm like, it's the shadiest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm gonna go to GNC and buy it. Yeah. But like that's the thing. Like the Nicholas Joyal thing, Ricky. There was one lady one year who got popped on a team. She was like, "Look, yeah, I drank this blue shit, jazzed me up. I kept taking it. I didn't even read what was on the bottle. I went and bought it and kept taking it. Just say that. Like you were taking something and it wasn't protein powder, and like just jump off the cliff with it. It's fine. The deed's done. Like." And like in the Phil Toon case, that to me, and so Maryland prescribes that stuff for hair loss and prostate stuff, right? So that's her field is urology, and so and she knew immediately what it was that Phil was taking, and I didn't even because that wasn't all that was in the system, right? Was there more than one thing? You see that? You had the list. That's all.
Hold on, I have a list.
Let's check that list. Look the alley.
Whoa! Oh my word!
He typed that himself. That's Times New Roman. Times New Roman.
Yeah, his was Drostasterone.
Drostasterone.
So just one. Oh, okay. So I don't know what that is.
Well, that was the one. The only one I pulled up.
Okay. Well, so if it's from I thought it was an F word. But the one for hair loss, like I have several friends that have taken that, and Maryland prescribes it. And she said that it, in fact, does the opposite of performing enhancing stuff for guys. Like it's almost like kind of the way she put it was it kills boners, which to me says, hey, T's down. But so, and you know, we've seen Phil for 2-3 years. Everybody's been like, holy shit, this guy's upside's huge, big, strong guy. And also, you know, kind of going bald. That's okay. And I have buddies that have gone to greater lengths to not go bald before, you know, you're supposed to, quote, quote. But, you know, so that's a rough break. He had the prescription and all that stuff. And I've talked to Matt, you know, and it seems like, you know, I know the guy. I don't know him well enough to know if he's full of shit, but I don't take him for that kind. But yeah, if you go down for a hair loss thing you were trying to do, man, to stay sexy through, you know, the ripe old age of 25 or 6, however old he is, like that sucks.
The common story I heard on that drug is that it's a masking agent. So if you get tested, it's supposed to mask other stuff you're taking. The stuff I have on the screen there, when I looked it up, is a breast cancer medicine.
Yep.
And so essentially it's a steroid and it's straight up injected into the muscle.
Oh.
He was the rare one on this list that had something named that was a straight steroid. Like almost everybody else is taking this GW 50, 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I mean, it's like the whole damn list when you look at it, you know, and it's because it keeps your heart rate low while you're working your ass off doing cardio. Yeah. It's like ideally built for our sport.
Yeah, but that whole, hey, man, you may or may not get cancer down the road, that's enough for me to be like, you know what, guys?
It also gives you cancer.
Yeah.
But you can't go fast. It makes you go fast.
Just for, like, what? Hey, man, I played for the Yankees. I was taking this stuff to keep this $100 million coming in. Taking this to go do thrusters and snatches in Knoxville or, you know, wherever you're going. Like, just not
I saw that in the dumpster fire comments today on social media, where I was just eating my popcorn, chilling, seeing what the masses were saying, and there were a couple comments that seemed to be from people who were like, "Hey, I'm a doctor or physician or whatever in the medical field," and was like, "This will straight up give you cancer." I was like, "Oh God, why? Why are you doing it? Why?"
Hey, man.
No.
I've moved to the opinion now, particularly after reading what it does. When I read the little article, they were literally describing a CrossFit workout as what it does to you.
Well,
you know, it helps you move with high intensity. It literally said it helps you get more reps than the guy next to you, low heart rate, better cardio, including lifting weights. I'm like, this just reads like CrossFit. And so now every time I see someone get popped for 15, 16, I'm like, yeah, they did that shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like for constantly varied ... Well,
here's the other thing. So the other thing that made me Google that I thought was interesting. I'm like, well, like most everything's governed in this country. Like how hard would it be to get this stuff within 30 seconds for $49.99? You can get a bottle of this stuff.
It's cheap too.
Yeah, it's not even expensive. Not even expensive.
Come
That's crazy.
on.
No, I didn't try to get any shipped to my house, allegedly. But
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Get that in the PO
So
box.
they
That's your
say.
secret.
You know what else? You know what else was interesting? As I was reading it, whoever's selling it is giving you the description, telling you what it does. Of course, they're not telling you it's going to give you cancer, but
That's
they're
what I was about to say. Does
absolutely
it have the
telling you.
cigarette black box on it that says,
Yeah,
hey,
Not
but they're
intended for
absolutely telling you
pregnant
what it'll
women.
do for you. Yeah, like I'm sitting there reading this thing, going, man, if I wanted to improve, my
link in
my
the
CrossFit workouts, this would be a good one to go to.
So, can we talk a little bit about the implications of all this in terms of backfills? Because that's kind of where I'm hung up right now.
my favorite.
I'm having a hard time
It's hard
processing
to
and also understanding.
well, like in my experience, and hell, everybody's experience, CrossFit does not communicate fast, right? Like especially on pressing issues, and so the fact that like these people have already gotten their, but like Austin getting his backfill, I don't know who gets it because I don't know if anybody gets it because the guy in the Far East popped, but whoever gets them, especially for teams, I feel like for teams it's a bigger deal because there was no LCQ for teams. And like, I guess 3 weeks out, it's probably, if you've been sitting around eating Taco Bell like I have since semis, then, you're going to go and just have an experience. But yeah, they're moving fast with it. So like, it's not as complicated to unravel as the sanctional year. Cause that was like
Correct.
just the hangover numbers spinning around my head guy.
who got the backfill at Granted?
Nick, what's his last name?
I don't know. This is the research I didn't do. I was counting on
It's Nick. Damn, I can see his face in my head. Proven athlete, Nick. He's been at it for a while. He was in
Matthews. Nick
Matthew.
Matthews.
I don't know why that was
Boom.
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
Look at my CrossFit knowledge, Niki.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, no, he's been sniffing like the 5 for a while, especially the last 2 years. I know he did well at Granite
He'll
last
get Phil Toon's spot, and they'll all move up one.
year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how, because I mean it's less than 3 away, right? So like, how many are they going to roll out? Because what's crazy is like now those people, like those flights are silly still, and you cannot find a place to stay.
Correct.
Yeah, can't find
Also
a place
true.
to stay now. Like you're going to sleep in the campground in a tent.
Yeah. So what's interesting to me is that like it's kind of messy when, let's just say you're one of 5 who qualify and then that spot kind of moves down. So technically it would be the 6th place spot who gets that backfill, but that 6th place spot has already competed in the LCQ. So let's just pretend that like the person who came in 7th, who was also in the LCQ, did really, really good, but the person who was 6th did really, really poorly in the LCQ, and then that 6th place spot who did worse in the next qualifying position is actually the one who gets the ticket to games as opposed to the person behind them who did better in the LCQ. And I'm like, oh my,
that's a good point.
Like gives me anxiety to think about it. And I just feel like if you're an athlete, you're probably like, man, nothing about this is easy to decide on. That's all, and I feel like CrossFit is doing the right thing in taking the next spot because they treat the semifinals as independent events from their event, which was the LCQ. And I believe that is the right way to do it, especially how they structured the season. Like each individual event has its own programming for the most part, its own people, its own structure. Like if you did not qualify at that event, it makes sense to backfill the next spot. I just think I look at these people already went through a whole nother weekend of competing and it makes it really difficult. That's tough. It's tough.
Well, I didn't even think about that. I mean, that's like the LCQ going. That makes sense. But I mean, I guess if that person's not there because they get popped sooner or, whatever the hypothetical will be, then they wouldn't have been in there. So I guess that does make sense. It stings a lot less than, than it could. So, I mean, I just remember that sanctional year, boy, I couldn't even listen to people try to dissect it out loud. Like it was so crazy. Well, you see here is 17 points. So you could go to strength and depth and get 26th and qualify. I was like,
right. No, we've streamlined, which is nice. But then you look at what's happening is it South America, or basically all 5 teams have right. So, and I know that they
easy route and you still cheated.
Yeah, truly. And then there's the fact that they tested all 5 or maybe 7 or 8 spots. Like they're running out of spots that they tested at that event. So then the question becomes, I'm curious to hear what the testing protocol is from here on out. So let's just say you're the 6th place team out of Latin America, and
Yeah.
you did not get tested at semifinals, but you get invited to games. Like, do they test you upon arrival? And then, obviously it takes time to process, but when we get your information back, you either are continuing to compete or you've been disqualified. And if you've won any events, obviously you don't get to collect on that money. I think that they've done that kind of thing before where they test athletes upon arrival. So that's entirely possible. It's like, wow, we didn't think we would need to do that. We didn't think.
Well, somebody put it on Instagram today. I think it might have been Marquand. And, I've always, this is like the just joke to me of when people are like, oh, a professional, this, that, and other. I'm like, dog, we paid $300 to go play this, to get a cool shirt and now a No Bull fanny pack. Like,
which are awesome, by the way.
This is a fancy rec league sport. Yeah, they are awesome. But it's a fancy rec league sport to a certain degree, unless you're one of these guys that does it for a living, which cool, you're going to the games and you're in the league, I guess. But like, for all the money you give them, for all the hundreds of thousands of people that do the open and then now quarterfinal, so you're double dipping with twice the money. Plus those people probably pay $20 to do the judges course. And then all these people, the whatever you want to call it at semis and the games, you still got to pay a ridiculous lump sum on top of the travel stuff. So like, where the hell does that go? And so Marquand's thing was, hey, we pay all this money. When we show up, and this has happened to me a few times, exactly what you're talking about, Niki, like me in 2017, me and Jared Stevens got pulled out at registration to go piss. And cool. We're probably only two of three guys that are over 6 foot and 200 pounds. Awesome. Test us. I am flattered. But you could do that for everybody. Like, hey, here's your T-shirt, your fanny pack, piss cup. Please follow this person. Like,
Bean agrees.
Bean agrees. Thank you, Bean.
Bean agrees. Bean's on my team. Bean always takes my song requests to heart. John never does.
I know. Bean's in a mood tonight. I have Marquand's statement here. Hold on. Look how prepared I was.
Look.
What? John.
That's my dog.
Look at this. Juan, the guys that are popping aren't the only ones using. Test the whole field. To do this, charge us extra registration. I'll pay the extra money to get a drug test before competing in a semifinal event.
Yeah. And he's right. And he's a perennial, like, he is making a push for the games every year. Last year had a knee injury, but Quan's in the mix all the time and has been in the mix. Yeah. And so, and I have too, dude. I don't know if I never looked around to notice the people on teams that I knew were doing steroids, like the OG people that now it's like super common knowledge. That entire camp was just pumping them out. The old OPEX teams with like Danny Nichols and kind of like when Grid was popping. But I mean, I hear several things of like, and I have no proof or anything, but there's a lot of things like doctors overseeing use to make sure these people don't get caught. And so, but that's, if I'm testing everybody, you're still probably going to get your cycle on, cycle off, but then nobody is probably taking the chance of being freshly on it, because I don't know what you juice up your gains, and I think you keep like, there's some ratio they have, like if you cycled way off for an event. But that's always been the buzz, but I've just never cared enough to dive into it till now when they start just unrolling the list. So but I don't think testing them up front would be crazy. Like there are crazier logistical things that go on. Skip the facility tour. We're going to get when we come to the brief anyway, way too early in the morning, and then test everybody. If you're going to compete, it's not that many people, especially at semis. Like there's no age groups. It's teams and these people. Like test everybody.
See, I'd take you one step farther and tell you test before and after every event, every athlete that competed. And I do it at every stage. So what? Like
if you get the one, like if you get me at registration, and surely I'm not going to get a shot immediately after I piss like I'm off the hook. Like it doesn't. I don't think it works like that. Actually, maybe it does, because Nicholas Joyal straight said, he's like, yeah, I took too much the first day and I was whooping the shit out of everybody, so I took it down for the second one and then half dose on the last day just to slide right in there. I was like, but that's the explanation the people want. Don't tell me how sorry you are, dog. No, I love it.
Well, look,
as an athlete, I appreciate that more.
I just think the testing has to be. There's two things that you need to do. They need to test more, whether it's before and after or on a better schedule and more random. And I think you can easily address that by telling all athletes, if you think you're going to be competitive, right? If you think you're going to get it out, past the open and you want to compete at semis and quarters and potentially the games, you're going to get tested before the open. And to your point, Quan's point, pay up front. Your fee's higher than my fee. I'm going to pay $20 to do the open. Dex Hopkins is going to pay $300 to do the open, or $500 or whatever they charge for that testing.
Oh God, does that stretch if we qualify? Because that's these sponsors still want to pay you in t-shirts and protein powder, John. They don't want to pay for my registration.
Oh, I know. Trust. Trust me. We do sponsorship.
We know because we make so much podcast money. No,
but I guess here's my ultimate point to it is that, at the heart, CrossFit is still a health company, company.
Yeah.
And I think they need to be above reproach in their stringency of how they're making sure the athletes are living a healthy lifestyle, right? Or at least a healthy role model lifestyle.
That's the separation of church and state, right? For CrossFit is like, and that's why
but you can't have it both ways. We can't sit here and say, CrossFit Games is a great example of CrossFit and it gets people into the gyms, and then also let the athletes stick a needle in their leg before they go out and compete or take a pill or whatever.
Right. But at least I will say that our testing is obviously stringent enough to say we don't let an athlete stick a needle in their arm or take a pill or whatever, because we catch you and y'all can't come. You cannot play in the sandbox. Like, we are a health company. And so, if you fuck up, we will find you.
Well, but that's the argument, is that CrossFit just isn't transparent enough about the testing for it to really hold a lot of weight. I mean, because I agree with you, Niki, completely agree with you. Like, CrossFit is saying we're going to test, and the testing seems to be working.
Yeah.
But it's all, to Dex's earlier point, it's third party, and CrossFit's a public company. Like, they're not publishing these results. You can't go back and see 5 years worth of people that got popped.
Wait,
it should be loud and proud every single.
They leave it on the website, but it's not.
Yeah, they leave it up. They publish those lists, and you can go back and see who popped.
Well, that's my qualm though. Is like, because it's third party, nobody knows if that's the whole list. That's what I'm saying.
You can see what they got popped for, Niki, but there are no details on what happened during the appeal process. None.
Yeah. And like, that's not all these things I'm saying. This is a solution. Like, I'm super pumped they are rolling these lists out. That, as an athlete, as a coach, and hell, I work for Brute, dude. I talked to Matt Torres today. Like, it's just not a pretty scene, right? Like, he's got a bunch of people down there training for the games, and like, now, this stuff's floating around the air. But I'm glad they're doing it. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing with, like, I think they're just easing back into regionals. Logistically, it's going to work better for everybody across the board, and then this would be an easy add, because that's what it felt like this year, a little bit like regionals. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're rolling them out. But yeah, this ain't shitting on them. I'm excited about it, but I need all these people to leave their comments turned on and just take the lumps, because we got jokes.
So
I do not blame them for closing their Instagrams at all.
So that brings me to my next question. How do you guys feel about, like, so I see some comments online that's like, hey, these people are human. They make errors. Like, let's not forget one thing or another. And maybe there are, I don't think that there are tainted supplements like that, really, but maybe there are legitimate other, not excuses, but I don't even know. Like, maybe some people aren't just like flat out cheaters the way that we're making it very black and white. How do you guys feel about that sentiment?
What, that some athletes are just dumb meatheads? I would agree with that. Sure.
Or stupid, dumb. Like, John, you and I have talked about, like, Ricky popping and how we were both really harsh on him. And then, looking back, we're like, man, he was a dumbass kid. And he's come out and said that. And that was a human mistake. It was the wrong move. So I don't know. I'm just curious to know how you guys are taking that approach too.
Well, I always try to, I'm joking with you 100%. You're going to take these lumps. I'm going to put out a funny meme, usually the same one from the program. But, like, you just got to do it. I mean, I'm going to reserve the thing to see how you handle it. If you come out and I think you're full of shit and you're like, well, it floated across the warehouse into my protein. Like, I'm obligated to drop 50 jokes on the comments. I'll tag you. Like, and I don't know. I appreciated Ricky being like, hey, you got me, guys. Now the documentary is a little awkward because it was kind of watching him choke it back, like you knew. But yeah, man, I'm gonna joke with you either way. Like you cheated, it's okay. We'll get over it. You're not dead or going to jail. But it's funny for thrusters and rowing for you to take steroids, dog, in a conditioning sport.
My mindset, I feel, is changing on this whole performance enhancing drug things. I was thinking about this the other day. I was a true believer for years. None of these people are taking. They're all natty because I've been around a lot of games athletes, and
I
none
hope
of them
they're
are
taking
taking.
Makes me feel better. I hope they're taking it. Makes me feel better.
Well,
No, he
maybe
kicked my
but
ass because he's on steroids.
I have never witnessed. I have never witnessed anything from a CrossFit Games athlete other than when I would offer them my protein bar or protein shake. They'd look at me like I was speaking Chinese because they didn't take anything that wasn't, verified. Like they would literally lecture me for it.
It's Advocare.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So my point is, I'm always like, I've always been a true believer, but now like everybody's getting popped for the same thing. It's like, come on, like we're 12 deep in this GW 15-16. They're all taking, they all know it's in there. It's not a tainted supplement. They chose to do it. It's cheap and easy, and they rolled the dice on cancer.
And we'll see you in the Florida Grid League next season.
But what I'm not going to do, Niki, is berate those people or make too much fun of them. Like I haven't done any memes where I use anyone's specific name.
Yeah, you're a sweetheart for all that.
Nor will I, because like I do think people often make mistakes. Is it bad character? Maybe, but I mean, man, if you put my life under a microscope, which I'm not going to allow anyone to do that. Matter of fact, I have my sister already predetermined if something happens to me to come wipe my browser history. But anyway,
you've been chosen.
But yeah, people just do dumb shit sometimes. So, I'm not going to be too harsh on them. I'm not, going to roast them in the comments, but I'm also, I'm not out here going, oh, I love that guy. Sorry to see that happen. It's like, no, you cheated. You got caught. Move on. Go do something else.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like I love that's why I called Ricky Batman all year, or like the villain coming back. And like, I hope he does great because he's handled it well. And like him and Justin Kotler are going to be insane at the games if he's doing well. That's going to be funny to watch.
I love that partnership so much. In fact, we have got to get him on the show, John, because he's such a wonderful human. I really love everything about him, and he cares about his athletes like they're his kids. Mm-hmm. Like when we were at the MAC and Ricky was competing or had just finished competing, or there was like maybe like a day overlap because of the time difference, he couldn't eat, he couldn't sleep, he couldn't whatever, because Ricky was so anxious in competition that Justin was like like 2 spots removed, anxious for him. And he was like, Ricky, you got to eat. And Ricky couldn't eat. And he was like throwing up before he was going on the floor because he was so nervous. And he was like worried about him like he was his son. And I was like, that is some next level like love for the people that you're training.
Kotler's group, Underdogs, just donated a lump of money for the adaptive campaign I put on.
Wait, time out. Yay. Are they the only camp? Are they the only camp that hadn't had somebody pop? I know Phil's our guy.
I have no idea.
Comp train, nobody's pop.
That's because no one got in from comp train. Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually not true. Amanda Barnhart got in.
Amanda's in.
Yeah.
Cole got in.
I feel bad. That was a bad joke.
They have 57 Masters athletes. No, but that's what. We need to make that map and put little needles.
Was Nicholas Joyelle a proven athlete?
Actually, I think he was Deca comp, wasn't he? Didn't they say Deca?
I don't know. I don't follow these guys that close. I did send I sent Pat Vellner a DM today. This is a true story. I sent him a DM and I'm, hey Pat, you competed against Ricky, Nick, and Phil Toon all in really close comps. I'm going to need you to see your prescription pad. I think maybe you're slipping these guys
to yourself.
Like I think maybe
Joyale's hard work paid off. So
thanks, Kat. Yeah, Kat knows what's up.
Kat's on her shit always.
Yeah, there we go. Oh man.
Yeah, see? And all the teams, God knows who the team. I hope all the teams were like #Mayhem athlete. That would be funny.
Yeah, I never keep up with these camps. So when someone gets popped, like I never think about their camp. I did think today though, so that's a really interesting point. I always wonder, can you penalize the coach? for an
No.
individual athlete?
No.
No.
Or could
Definitely
you?
not.
But
No.
should they?
You could send them a
No.
nasty email, but like most people are remote, and so like I can't even. And even if you weren't remote, I can't control what you eat, much less like needles you stick in your ass or pills you
Yeah,
take.
no. And
Well,
I
we
would
just said
venture a
there's
guess
no such
that
thing as taint. So, if it's not tainted, they're putting it in. I don't know. I'm not saying they should. I'm just wondering out loud. Like, you have
I
all
don't
these
think
coaches
so.
pushing
Well,
all
like
these athletes through.
so Olympic Village, right? Most of those people live there, eat in the cafeteria, like it's an
Correct.
ecosystem. These are still grown ups. Like Chandler's Day in Boston, wakes up, works out at 9, goes home from 12 to 2, puts on Normatec boots, types his notes, comes back for a second shift. That in between, there's no Ben, pushing him around, making sure he doesn't use his legs, and making sure he eats what he's supposed to eat. So like, you definitely can't get anything from the coaches. Like maybe I don't know. It's such an individual thing,
No.
man.
No,
And
look, I'm
and
just
I would
again.
venture a guess that a lot of those athletes who are doing that kind of stuff are hiding it too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm just trying to think of are there other levels of accountability you can put in? And just it's got to be a way to fix it long term, and they've got to put some money behind it. Here's an interesting question. See if either one of you guys have the balls to answer, because I'm not sure I do. Do you think any of the legends did it?
Oh, do I think they?
Mark,
So
we'll read the question. I forget there are people that aren't going to watch this.
Mark is asking the tough. First of all, hi Mark. Mark is my
Hi, Mark.
favorite internet friend, who's also a pediatrician who I constantly berate with questions about my son. So there's that. The question is, did you guys already talk about it? And the answer is no. If we think any of the legends did PEDs, like Fraser, Froning, those kinds of guys, I will boldly say no. I don't think they did. I think they're all clean. And I'm putting my
Rich
flag in
only
the
took
sand.
Advocare. Okay, he did 225 Isabel on the Advocare stage.
Yeah.
I don't think so, man. I think Rich is no dummy. Rich is a CSCS guy. He's a strength conditioning coach at a college, like because everybody's like, oh, he's only I remember when people used to think he ate pancakes and like only drank chocolate milk and shit like that. Like, does he tell you exactly what he's doing? No, but I don't think he's ever like juiced it up.
No.
Just because he's never been like a I feel like I akin it to people that like see like CrossFit women on TV and think they're massive, and then you go and they're all tiny ladies with muscles.
Tiny.
Yeah, tiny ladies with muscles. And so he was never a huge guy. Like nothing ever looked abnormal about him. And not so fun Matt story. I think it was the year after he had gotten second for the second time, like the crazy fuck second place year. And he had come to work out with us because Sammy was really good friends with Jen Smith, who was in the gym.
Yep.
Didn't say too much. He was cool, like, take the picture with everybody and all that stuff. But like all business. It was all business the whole time. And I was like, this guy is an asshole serial killer. And he is. And he's the best to ever do it.
Yes.
Yes. And so I get it now.
You're so right. And I don't know, John, you can probably attest to this as well, because we did a podcast with Matt, it was a couple months ago now. And people ask me all the time, like, is Matt different now that he's not competing? Because, I have interviewed him at every winning everything for the last 5 or 6 years. And the answer is yes. Like, Matt has never had more personality or been more like open or whatever than when he stopped competing. And when we had him on the podcast, I was like, man, like we've never really had a chance to like sit and chat like this, because you're always in the zone. You're always on and you're always working and you always have one focus. And yes, like doing interviews or whatever is part of your job, but everything is different now that you're not out here trying to win everything every day. And I think that that's true. And I think that you're right. Like having that blinders up serial killer mentality, like that's why they win. That's why they win.
We worked out, and then our Saturday thing was we go eat donuts at McGee's. So it's just renowned donut place. And, didn't go, obviously. But I was like, that guy's a dick. Said it for years. The documentary comes out, and he's telling all these things where, he's opted in for testing all year, like Buddy says in the comments. And he doesn't use sharp knives. He
doesn't use knives. That's right. Like that's like legit, because he's like, I can't cut my fingers. I can't get a cut on my hand 2 weeks before games. Like,
well, like whoa. I have felt crazy obsessive about this, right? Like made the joke, I don't have any other hobbies to people, and I cannot imagine being that way. But I also can't
Yeah.
imagine like beating the shit out of everybody. But
Mhm.
like he did, like he could several days in a row, because that's why like I don't know, man. I don't think he has. I don't think either one of them have. Like Rich is one
Me
of the
either.
better movers ever, and was like that way before it was cool.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah.
and he never. I mean, he has had a gross injury every 2017. He had a torn MCL, had some shoulder things. So I mean, he has suffered the same thing that's taken out a lot of people. But so it's not like he was super juiced all the time and never got hurt. But I just don't. They weren't that big, man. And I'm a bigger guy in the field and got to be close to these guys, and like I still feel massive. But I just never thought they were crazy. I mean, that are crazy physique wise. Matt and Rich are crazy, and that's why they're who they are. But
That's why they win. Yeah.
yeah, handsomely, just not even close.
Well, for the record, I don't think either one of them took or are taking,
No.
whatever that's worth.
No.
And that's a true opinion, not just like not I'm a fan or know them or whatever. But like when we had Matt on the show, he told a story about drug testing and having,
Yes.
God knocking on the door in the morning
Yep.
and him being asleep and just going back to bed and this guy watching him sleep for an hour because he didn't have to pee at the time,
Can you imagine like the PTSD you have from like any kind of crazy shit put in your body from that though? Like you're trying to go to the Olympics and they're doing you like that. And so now you're in this, like your natural habits just, no thanks. I'll come out with my own supplements. Don't worry
Exactly.
about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll
There's,
create my own business. Thanks very much.
look, there's no telling how much money that cat makes. Like nobody has done it. I thought Rich did it very well. But nobody is going to capitalize on this thing post career like that. Like I would be very surprised to see anybody ever do that again. And it'll keep
True.
going.
We'll come back to that question after Tia's won her 10th title and
Touche.
see how much she's raking in.
But she's not into as much. This guy, dude, they got pancakes. They got that. Those streams are many. There's a mini stream coming into that bank account, dog.
I think she could get there after she's done competing. She's got the serial killer focus on. She's not crafting a business. She's not.
I feel like she has way more fun than Matt on a regular, like, I'm going to win the games year. No telling, like, how much looser she'll be about stuff after. Like, I can tell Matt, like, probably still, like, obviously is able to apply that kind of crazy shit to, like, school. You know, they talked about it, like, the years before he went full time. Guy smart as hell, got engineering degrees, you know, and you see what happens when he put it into this. There's no telling, like, the schedule he keeps now is probably way looser, but it's still probably crazy marching into whatever it is, you know, full on like that.
Hey, he said he's never been busier.
Yeah. They have so many pots on the stove. I can't believe he coaches people. Yeah.
He does. He does. And he gets on that app and like legitimately face to face with people. Isn't that wild?
That's a dude. That's nasty. That's dedication. A lot of work. Yeah.
He's a hardworking dude. That his little slogan.
No, yeah, I respect it.
It's totally right for him. There's no doubt about that. Hey, here's a random question. Dex, I don't know if you have an opinion on this or not, but I was looking over that list. Here, I'm going to pull it back up. And
big screen.
Yeah, I know. Most of the names are men.
Yep.
Very few women getting popped. Why is that? Yeah. Which I
women do it better. That's why.
Well, it's like, but the irony of it is you talk to anyone outside of CrossFit, and they'll go, "Oh, all those women are taking," because they're not used to seeing women with that kind of muscle, you know. And then it's just interesting when people start getting popped. None of them are, very few of the women, and the ones that were team.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. Well, what's that girl's name? She's on the Milford team. Zeoli. So she went to the gym that got popped last year, Ocean State or something like that. It's Ray's gym. Yeah.
Christine, right?
It's Christine. That's it. Christine Middleton. That's it.
Yes.
So, she squat clean 300 in that gym, and they got tested at Atlas Games. And she's literally stronger than some men in the field. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I also don't think you have to be as strong to be a competitive female as you do to as much as you have to be a strong dude to be competitive in the male field. So it's
the women's field is a little bit more well-rounded as opposed to needing that pop in the points because you win the lifting event or whatever.
Well, I'd even say because like the hell on the same workouts with the same load, like the ratio load, that needle has moved way faster for women on strength. Like a woman doing stuff with 155 versus a fella doing stuff with 225 now. That's a different workout. It's a different
Mm.
workout. Brooke Haas showed me that many times doing workouts next to me.
Kat making a good point in the comments. Or do these substances metabolically affect women differently? That's very
the half-life on all of them. I looked some of that up. The one for what Phil's taking is like hours.
That's I read that it was like 16 hours or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
So that's crazy.
He just really, really did not want to go bald during that competition, you guys.
Dude,
he was like,
respect.
I have way too many friends that like I've had 2 friends have the hair loss surgery. Look, nobody want to go bald. If the people that really
plugs, they got plugs.
But it looks great now. It's so good.
I read in one of the comments today, somebody said, well, if it's the hair thing, we can guarantee Rich never took it.
Oh, yeah. They said the bigger the bald spot, the less chance you juice. Yeah, I saw that. That was a great. I like that one.
I know. It was so funny.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think that any of us are qualified to answer this question. This is I have no idea. We have to really talk to someone. Just wing it.
I think everything metabolically affects women different. Y'all are screwed on that front.
Kat's part of the Clydesdale podcast. They do a better job not sending it away. So Kat, do your research and come back on the show and tell us. So
it's a legitimate question. I'm saying I don't think any of us have the answer.
Yeah, I think girls are always the girl thing was always trying to acquire. Like if we found a girl that was very skilled, we knew we could be good with her. But like, and because lifting is still just one event.
Yes.
It's more. I mean, think of like even Kat. I mean, Kat got the door slammed in her face this year. It's the same test, right? Like this, like the upper body strength stuff. But I mean, I remember when a lady doing muscle ups in a row, like linking muscle ups was a big deal.
Yeah, totally.
So I mean, they can move loads like the traditional split loads now, like guys versus girl percentages. That's got to go up because I believe in equality and y'all are strong.
Well, I don't want to do it because I use the women's RX all the time.
My wife beats my ass all the time, and like
I used the women's RX in a workout today, and I still have PTSD from it. It was such.
Do you write it on the board? Do you do WRX?
No, but the coach came up to me. She's like, we were doing Holly Man, and the lift is 30 rounds for time, but the lift is it's a power clean, and the men's weight's 225 and the women's is 155. And I got no chance I'm doing 2.25 for 30 lifts, just not going to happen. So I'm like, I'm using the women's RX, and that wasn't my sticking point in the workout, but I'm not loving my life right now.
No, that's so much work. That's so much work.
It was a ridiculous amount of work. I got no business doing that many power cleans. It was just not fun.
How many masters athletes do you think take like TRT shots and don't tell anybody, John?
Well, I was going to say actually, a lot of them are still going to get popped. They always get popped after the games.
Yeah.
I mean, historically, at least the last few years, and because I watched those divisions, and in this case, it is actual people on the podium.
Yeah.
It's not, we busted the guy that finished 10th, although they do that too. Like a lot of the masters athletes get busted. So I'm going to be the naysayer here and say most
would get popped. I can
no. Most take it. They won't get popped, but most take it. Like,
I wonder if you have that prescription, does it matter? I don't know.
Well,
it doesn't matter because if you have, it's still prohibited. It doesn't matter.
Dude, I can tell now. Like if you're in the gym, I can pick like 40-plus-year-old dudes that like, hey man, you start taking some new vitamins. You got some tainted supplements at home. We'd be like, go to the clinic once a week, baby.
Yeah.
No, really? Well, how can you tell? Yeah. How can you tell? What are the hallmarks?
To me, it's always like you look super dry, like a bodybuilder kind of thing, but like the thin skin stuff. But if you're a super mega jacked 52-year-old dude, like not like Ric Flair jacked, like you're bricked up old dude, and just I can tell it's weird.
So the opposite of me. That's what you wanted to say. The opposite.
I've seen you and your dad. Y'all are bricked up.
Roy might be bricked up.
Yeah. Roy.
Isn't it your mom's? Is it your mom's birthday today, John?
It is my mom's birthday.
What are we doing here?
Well, I need to text her real quick because I totally.
You're welcome.
I totally saved it out. She's probably watching this live right now, and she's like, "Damn it, John! Niki had to tell you." And I know she's going to watch it on the backside and know that this wasn't a heartfelt text. So I'm going to make it really heartfelt as I send it right now.
Just
How about
FaceTime
First of
her and
all,
wake-
you know she didn't say "damn it" because
I know.
FaceTime her and wake her up.
she don't
But-
play like that.
The people watching are like getting really lost. But for those that don't know, Dex goes to the same gym as my dad. And so he trains with old Roy.
Yeah, it's
And,
Roy's gym. I'm just there.
Yeah,
Old Roy is the mayor of CrossFit Tupelo.
I love Roy, dude. He's so
the
funny.
best.
He's
the
getting
best.
stir crazy. He hasn't been in because he's
Right.
bladder cancer.
Yeah.
And getting treated for it, and he's fine. But I've heard way too many stories about his dick now.
But did he tell you? Okay, so then Marilyn works at Urologic, so Roy might have met her.
Wait, everyone knows about his wiener, is what you're saying.
Oh,
No,
so Marilyn's seen
dude,
it.
she will tell
Oh
me
my God.
nothing ever.
Good. HIPAA.
Yeah,
That matters.
no, she's the worst about it. I thought I had like this in for cool stories. Like we'd be at
No.
UK, and I'm like, all right, some of these kids are going to the NFL and NBA. Like, oh, who'd you work on? She'd tell me nothing. Nothing.
Well,
So if he did go, you'd have to tell me, John.
I'm
She'll
ecstatic to know she has not told you everything you needed to know about my dad's dick and balls. So,
That's just the things I would
Amazing.
inquire. You see, Mr. Roy, how's he doing?
well, a little to the left, actually. Oh, okay,
Well,
good.
it's
For
southeast
the record, in this house we call it Mr. Pips.
Mr.
What?
Pips.
Yeah, in that context.
Well, you can have Mr. Pips. I'm gonna have Dr. Pecker. How about that?
Mr. Pips, yeah, because my baby is now at the stage where the second I take his diaper off, his hand goes directly into his nuts, and he
Oh,
tries
it's
to
not
grab
different for
him,
girls?
pull him right off.
That's not different for
It's
girls.
not.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
when they
that's-
get to where like they figure out how to start trying to roll. Like now, I
Uh-huh.
literally like seatbelt her to the changing table.
Yes. Yes.
and she'll
Same.
freak out. Yeah, it's not different though. It's not different.
I got to put something in his hands, otherwise he goes for Mr. Pips, and I'm like, you
I
got to
can't.
leave.
I can't
Mr.
make fun of
Pips
Mr.
alone.
Pitts because we call everything like ninny biscuits, and I stole that from my
Oh.
friend Jeff. See, yeah, nobody likes saying it,
No.
but I don't know what to say. Yeah, fun conversations, girl dads. It's gonna be great.
That's tough. That's yeah. You're in
Oh, I
for a
can't wait.
lifetime of trying to figure out how to do that.
You're gonna be looking
you
at
know-
baby parts for a long time. I'm telling you, my kids, I distinctly remember between 3 and 6 or 7, just minding my own business, and then hearing somebody go, "Daddy, come wipe me," and then you gotta
Oh,
go
yeah,
wipe
you
an
told me
ass.
this.
It's like
Amazing.
you're in
I
the middle
can't
of my
wait.
show.
Oh, I'm
You
just
come-
I'm like I'm gooby on the inside, like super. I can't wait for like daddy daughter dance. Like see
Yeah,
what
that
kind of
stuff's
weird they
fun.
are. I feel like everybody's weird. So
Totally.
can't wait to see what kind of weird they are.
I
First
love
time,
that
what are you gonna do
stuff.
the first time they find your stash of Enduraball? That's gonna
Stash. It'll be in the cabinet next to vitamins. I hope they stumble into it.
Daddy, this was next to your cocaine.
Look, I
You're
want to.
before.
If I ran like an independent study and I was going to be like, hey, let's see if I could get through with some of the juice, and they caught me, I would do that interview like a villain from Scooby Doo. Like I'd pull a mask off. I'm like, and I would have got away with it if
I want somebody.
I would have
to do
got
that.
away with it
you
too. Yeah.
meddling kids. Yeah, and I'd tell them, and I would like, I'd go live and take questions for hours till people tapped out. That's what I want. Be the villain. You knew what you were doing, probably. Like, 100%.
That's
Just
what I
own it.
want.
It's
I want
cool.
somebody just to come forward and go, "Yeah, I did that shit.
Yeah.
I did it all," and give you the whole story. Make it drama
I
filled.
was at the gym. Buddy slid me a bag of pills. I said, "Give me 2, because if it's free, it's for me."
That's the story. The one story that came out of this, I forget which athlete it was, but it was like someone gave me a gift. Like, what? Why don't I have friends like
What kind of
this?
friends you got on?
Yeah,
Really?
Would you be offended though? Is that like somebody buying you cologne? They think you stink.
Well, yeah, maybe. Hey,
Look at skinny John. Here's some steroids.
Yeah.
Weak as fuck. Here's a bag
Yeah.
of treats.
you are slow.
You remember
as
when we were
hell.
doing yard work? I saw you struggling to help you out.
Well,
Yeah,
that would be true too. That would be true. I've always been insulted. No one's ever accused me of roids ever.
I'm so flattered every time they ask.
Well,
us
remember
this. I
that
love it.
time?
I was.
Remember that time I asked you if you photoshopped your abs?
Oh, John.
Oh no, is he frozen?
great-
Is he frozen for you too?
Am I back?
Oh, we lost you for a second. Yeah, you're
Okay.
back now.
I could see you guys. I was good. You got, and then
Oh,
you just
okay.
started waving at me like a couple of psychos. It was
Yeah.
great.
I thought Bean attacked you. I was making sure you're okay.
No,
Good, you good.
no. He wants to. He wants to, but he's not going to. But yeah, I think somebody should just own up to it. Just tell the world what they did. It'd be great. But
Joyal kind of did.
Yeah,
Uh,
he sort of did.
it's a
Ricky
hard
did.
position for these guys to be in when you think about it. I mean, we've already said it. You know, there's not unless you're winning, and none of these people that have gotten popped have won yet. They haven't won shit. Like, oh, we finished second at Granite. That's $2,000. Come on, or like what? Or $3,000. Like, you're not winning anything yet. So, like, to get banned for 4 years sucks for them.
Yeah.
So I get it, like why they're not telling their story, but at the same time, I just wish someone would.
I am very intrigued by the like fine and ban and timing situation that you came up with.
That's hardcore.
That's
I might really like it. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm really cheap. That would hurt. I'd just be like,
but you wouldn't do it.
If I popped and they find, I wouldn't do the steroid stuff because I'm like, dog, $5,000. I ain't gonna have that. I ain't gonna have it. So
exactly.
Yeah. Well, this whole like kind of fine thing is why I asked the question about coaches. You know, like I just wonder like sometimes about the reputational risk to some of these programs. Like when you mentioned hard work pays off was one of the athletes, I'm like, oh shit, that's Matt's team. You know, and like enough of that happens, and your team starts to get.
Yes.
For no pun intended, tainted, right? So
no, I think that's a huge part of it for sure. And that's why I also look to I don't look to the coaches to be responsible for the athletes, but I do look to the coaches to see how they handle those situations. Like Dex, you mentioned Matt Torres, right? Who's the head of Brute, who was posting about standing behind his athlete, but also recognizing what this moment really means. And I thought that Matt handled it incredibly well because he, like you mentioned, like he's got other athletes right now.
Oh yeah.
You guys have other people who you need to support, and that makes it difficult for everyone. So it's kind of like a lose-lose. Like that's really tough for everybody involved. And I do think it kind of permeates throughout the team. It's tough.
Yeah. I just wonder why some of the bigger names, the hard work pays off, Proven, Bergeron's group, Comp Train. Like if I were running one of those places, I'd test my athletes.
Oof. I don't know if I want to know.
Well, that's my point though. But do you want to find out when one of them makes the podium and now your program's, got to stay
in a sense, your program doesn't have a staying because that's an individual person. And as a coach, you can't be responsible for every single person. This isn't, they're adults, as like Dex said. They're not kids. They don't live with you. You don't these are adults making adult decisions.
You're responsible with the people that work for you. You don't have a code of conduct that governs what they do outside of work.
Yeah, but how many of them are paying
athletes? Right. And how do you enforce that when you don't live with them? And
the NFL has the stuff, right? Like the NFL has systems, but like people are so much more tied to organizations there and have ability to hold feet to fire that it's not even comparable. Like, I don't know. And I mean, if say they signed there's no contracts with the camps, the stuff, it's still like Wild Wild West.
I get it. My point is, I'm just, trying to give a business-like approach to these camps. They need to start thinking of it like a business. It isn't just a bunch of meatheads doing pull-ups anymore. The reputational risk is one of the greatest risks to a business. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been on the phone with someone from public relations to talk about some tweet that somebody put off that happened in a branch, and XYZ happened, and now we've got to stamp it down because of reputational risk. And it's no different here. Imagine if you had 5 athletes that prove and get popped. How would that look for Shane? Wouldn't be. I would agree with you guys. It's not his fault. You can't keep these people from doing it, but people are still going to go, okay, well, if you're a proven athlete, you're dirty. And I'm not saying anyone is dirty. I'm just using them as an example. You could put anyone's name there.
I think community wise though, you're on the island. You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen anybody like at Phil Pop, nobody put in there, man, fuck brute strength.
Not yet.
Right. But to John's point, if 5 athletes from Brute popped, then it would be a different. So as a coach, if you want to start testing everyone to make sure that you don't have a group of people doing something, I sort of understand that mentality. That's an interesting thought.
And I've
That's a
seen,
weird thing to have to
when some
enforce.
of these teams have gotten popped,
Yeah.
you immediately see people going into the comments, well, that whole gym's dirty,
Yeah, that's
and,
true. It does reflect upon gyms when
Mm.
teams pop differently than training camps. Yeah,
That's
you're
true.
totally
That's my
right.
point. It's like, I think that will eventually evolve as these camps continue to get bigger, they continue to consolidate, and they're going to. There's a real risk to these businesses if they don't do something, even if it's just get the athlete to sign something saying they're not gonna, whatever they do is their own fault. So then at least the business could come forward and go, hey, they told me they signed to have this document. They signed and said they weren't taking. Like
Mhm.
there's just a
Mhm. But
reputational
then
risk at that point.
but then as a coach, you walk a really fine line between still supporting your people and distancing yourself completely, being like, well, they signed
Mhm.
a thing and that's not my problem and fuck those guys. Versus like, this is a really bad situation and we're standing behind our athlete, but this is really difficult for everyone and he made the wrong move or whatever it is. That's a really fine line to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I mean,
It would
it's
have to go way deeper, consolidating everybody would have to be like a move there, live
well,
in
look,
house athlete.
I'm not saying that camps doing this should be mandated. I'm saying the camp should be thinking about doing it independently. They don't need CrossFit to tell them to do it. If I
I wonder
owned,
how many of them though, like Underdogs. Like I think Underdogs is an affiliate, right? Like,
Mhm.
so I wonder how many of them are just like because Comp trains CrossFit New England, Matt's CrossFit Naples down there. But I wonder how many of them like in terms of treating them. So that's like getting treated like an employee basically. And like, hey, I probably don't pay you, but you take this drug test so you don't make us all look stupid. I wonder if you could like. It's risky to say that to somebody when you can't hold their feet to the fire. If that's your thing that like pays the bills.
Mm.
I mean, if it's, I'm not testing you if I don't have to. And if you never get caught, awesome. We all look good. If you do, then we look like a jackass. But like, that's the risk I guess we're both taking. But if I was like, hey, man, you know, the brute workout room pays the bills. I don't care what you do during the year. Please don't get caught. But if I did the opposite and you're like, suck it because I can't hold your feet to the fire, then the place gets shut down because everybody
well,
left.
and there's always going to be different
Mm.
levels
Mm.
of camps. Like to your point, there's going to be some camps that are always going to be run. Like it doesn't matter who their athlete is, they're always going to run loose and honestly not care about this idea of athletes could ruin their name. They
Yeah.
won't care at all. And Underdog's a good example of that, where he's taken Ricky, who, had his thing, and he's taken other people, and they've come out looking great because they're great people,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem like they
Mm.
have that they worry about what other people think, where some of these camps, I think, will. Like Matt's famously said in USA Today this week that, he's very selective who he works with. So he's someone I guarantee you is worried about reputational risk because it's not just his training camp. He's got 10 other businesses that dude's running that are
Yeah.
at risk. But
Yeah, and he's going to be on top of his people and what they take and what they put in their body and how much they're sleeping and all that. Like that but now we're talking about the couple athletes that are training directly under him versus what about
yeah,
remote athletes? What about people who buy his programming? What about that's really tough. They're not
yeah,
taking anything but cookies. Have you ever seen I was watching? I'm not kidding. We were watching semifinals. I think we saw it in person at Syndicate or Mac, whichever one. And then I think we saw it again on the stream we were watching Granite. Like sometimes an athlete will finish and he'll like hand him a cookie, like a little
right.
stroopwafel cookie. Like, and it's obviously like carbs or quick carbs or whatever,
Yep.
that team has figured out like works. Like, oh, congratulations. But in the moment, it's kind of like when a dog does a really great trick and you're like, here's a treat.
I need
So
somebody
like
to do that
athlete
for me at the
crosses the
gym.
finish line and he's like, here's a stroopwafel. I'm like, man, I need to get better at training so I can eat cookies like that, like on the field of play.
Somebody bring me a stroopwafel. Those things are
Truly.
awesome.
Please.
So Nikki, I hope you're happy, Nikki. Now my mom's texted me photos of her cake. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh,
So you
yay. Send it to me.
We're having a
looks awesome.
party.
It does look awesome. To be fair, it looks awesome. What's that? What'd you say, Dex?
They're having a party.
Yeah, without me.
Wait, how old's mom?
77.
Oof, man,
Bev.
that's awesome.
I know, right?
I don't know if you have like weird things you look forward to, but like old Dex, I look forward to that.
Oh,
smelling like Vicks Vapor Rub at all times. Big events of the day were walking to the fridge. Yeah, be great.
What are you defining as old Dex?
Yeah,
want you to be
truly.
careful with the number.
If we're all kicking it like this at 77, we can write the CrossFit Methodology Works long book.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, 77. We'll call that. We're in cruise. Hopefully.
I don't know if
But
I look
always
forward
wonder.
to it. I've never like worried about my age until recently, and now that I think my girls I'm getting empty nester syndrome. You know, the girls are leaving.
Yeah. No, stay here and play games forever.
I know, and now I'm starting to feel my age and like wondering what will it be like when I'm 70. You know, will I still be using the women's RX, or will I have finally leveled up for a dude? We'll see.
I just want all these things to work. My back, my knees, all those things. That's it.
Same.
I just want to. I make this joke
same.
all the time coaching, or like I used to when I coached all day. But like the goal was to always be able to wipe my own ass.
That's
Always.
a good goal.
That's it. Nobody's got to sit me on there, conversate with me, wipe my ass, and take me back to bed. That's what we're dodging. So hashtag CrossFit.
I think
that goes with the new marketing. So
yes, perfect.
CrossFit.
I think we'll all get into that age. I mean, assuming, no disease. I think we can all get to that age doing CrossFit and then some. Yeah, I'm seeing more and more. I got a dude. Actually, I was going to invite his son, onto this show tonight because he's a doctor. But his dad CrossFits at Spring Falls CrossFit, and he's 96. He's in there 4 or 5 days a week, rowing.
That's crazy.
96 years old, man.
Like how much shit in your life do you get to see when you live that long?
That's
like,
wild.
I don't know, but a few more people get popped. He's going to the games.
Hey, the 90 plus division.
Tell you what, if they had a 90 plus, he'd be in it.
And he wins. He's the only one.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They'll have those divisions someday. Imagine that at some point. There's going to be a 75-year-old division. Can you imagine O'Roy and Madison? Oh, I can't wrap my mind around it.
Yep. Salty dog.
I love it. I love it. Of all the divisions, that's the one I want to see. Like some of the Masters divisions, like if we keep adding them, like we're not going to be able to like have them all there at the same time, or we're going to have to pull back on the athletes. There's going to be so many athletes. But someday I want to see like the individuals, the teams, and the 90 plus division. Like that's the broadcast I want to do, because that would be badass.
You want to see the 75-year-old Frazier and Froning go head to head? That'd be pretty awesome.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And then we'll all sit there and go, I wonder if they're taking now. I wonder if they are. Probably just Metamucil. That's all you get at that age.
Chocolate milk and pancakes.
Prune juice.
Just prunes. Just so many prunes.
Yeah, at that point, Matt's starting to put beta-alanine in his prune juice. Great.
It's podium
whatever works.
Juice.
Podium prune off. That's his new book.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's Sammy's new book. It's like 75 ways to make prunes. And she's
75 years of feeding Fraziers.
This is not an ad, but shout out. Her book's half price on Amazon today, by the way.
Hey, Prime Day.
Time to spend the money.
I know.
I can't do it. I was looking at all sorts of like baby stuff, and I'm like, I can't. Dude, we move into our new house on Wednesday. I cannot be spending money on Prime Day. I can't do it.
Why not? It's just credit, Niki. You pay off eventually.
Yeah. You only live once. There's more money out there and all that stuff.
I did not buy a thing on Prime Day. Did not buy a thing today.
Me either.
I'm not done. The day's not over.
It's true. There's
don't,
still time.
Don't get me wrong. I did look up some GW 1516 on Amazon. And,
it's on Prime shipping. You get it.
Yeah,
can be delivered today.
Yeah, there you go.
The drone drops it off at your house.
When we lived in Texas, they had same day delivery, and I loved it.
Yeah, they have it here too.
It's
for Amazon. Oh yeah, we get same day all the time. I can get beans, cat food.
Well, guess what? We don't get in Tupelo, John. Same day.
We
don't even have like DoorDash. We have Tupelo to go, and it cuts off at 8 when you want to order shit.
That's quite literally the most Tupelo thing ever. You probably know the person when you call down there.
You know what I went to that was the saddest thing, and I don't know if this is like. And you, Niki, have you taken your kid to a zoo yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, it's not as exciting when you're an adult pushing a kid through. You're like, you're going to love all these things. And then you see this lion just sad walking a circle and all that stuff. So,
did you take the kid to the Buffalo Park? Is that what you're talking about?
That's where we're going.
All right. So Niki, Tupelo has a zoo.
Oh yeah. Translate.
Yeah. So it's called the Buffalo Park, and it originally started. This guy just brought in some buffalo, and that's very exotic in Mississippi, apparently. Well,
Wildly.
then he added in some zebras, and they're just out
Okay.
roaming in the
Dude,
plain.
it's a
right?
full zoo. It's a full zoo.
Yeah.
Now.
And now he's got giraffes, lions, tigers, monkeys.
Okay, sounds
But
great.
No.
Yeah, it does until you get there, and the tiger's sitting in a 8-foot chain link fence. Like,
No.
it's scary for a lot of reasons.
That's some Tiger King shit right there.
It is
it's
exactly
like that.
like Tiger King. The same guys walking around. Like there was a guy with a prosthetic leg, just like the guy in the show. It's exactly what you think it was. But it was.
No.
I was so sad. And like my 2-year-old's running around loving it. Like she can get dangerously close to monkeys. So yeah, it was that kind of place.
One of those monkeys has escaped like 2 or 3 times.
Okay, so I got the story the other day. Some senior from Tupelo High School broke in there and tried to spray paint the lion. So they took the lion out, and the monkey broke out, and like it was like Jumanji, just about town.
It was like I think they caught it at the country club. I'm pretty sure.
That makes sense.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you're playing golf in Tupelo, Mississippi, and a monkey just runs across the court?
Jumanji. That's exactly what I think of. It's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. I don't know. I'm this is like going way off topic now, but like in general, I feel like zoos kind of make me sad. I'm like, oh, you should be out in the wild.
I felt so bad.
I have a hard time. So if it were just like that sounds like just an exotic pet collector. Who,
That's
like,
exactly
had
what it is.
land. Yeah, and that I don't dig that. That's not cool, man.
No.
I would rather
Well, I mean,
see pictures of
You
lions
can drive
online.
your car through and let the window down, and the bison will lick your kid.
Yeah,
that's pretty fun, actually.
The bison and the giraffes and the whatever the other one, the zebras, all actually have a pretty good life. They have huge fields to roam in, and like Mississippi's arid, like it's hot, like so they like hot weather. So they actually, of the group of animals, not so bad, but the lions are screwed. Like,
Dude,
it is so sad.
I'm the least handy man alive, and it looks like I built the little sheds they have these things in.
That's why it's so scary.
Yeah. At any point, you could be getting eaten by something. Bring your kids. $15.
Bring your kids. Can someone report this? Like
they have. Apparently, the guy is just ungodly rich from this thing and just pays the fines like Michael Jordan wearing banned shoes. Like it's
amazing.
It's just like, cool, take your money. Yeah, it's scary though. Like I don't know how you get into that. Like I like shoes and workout things. How do you like? I need monkeys. This place needs a giraffe.
This house.
Do you know what? Do you know what's sad? I feel like I could totally get into that. Like if I had like if I had unlimited wealth, because I love animals, if I had unlimited wealth and like an epic, like I owned a county and I'm like, the lions can roam the entire county. Like I would totally be like,
everybody's dead.
Everybody's
dead. Bring them.
No, the fenced-in county.
Yeah, no, they it's so sad. But like I don't know. And that giraffe is the saddest one there. He is not roaming the fields, John. He is standing in like a 15 by 10. Oh, it's the saddest. Like when they close down Toys R Us, that's where they put Jeffrey, is that place. It's like jail.
I hate this.
Yeah, that's sad.
Shut him down. Someone listening, shut him down.
I have some great pictures of my daughters with those giraffe though, when they were little girls.
Oh, look, will I go and see these animals? Absolutely. I'll take my kid as many times as she wants to go. Let the bison lick her little face. She loved it. That thing took the Uncrustable out of her hand too. She was pissed about that.
I would be mad.
Yeah, she was. She loves Uncrustables.
Got to give your baby girl
what they
want.
Oh, dude, I'm ruined. Already. She's 2. Yeah.
And it's always like that. It's just as bad when they're old, dude. And Nikki, you'll run into this because moms and their sons are no different. It's like,
oh yeah, it's already a problem.
Oh, you're gonna be crazy when he starts bringing little girls home.
Oh, it will be so cute.
Scream.
Or boys, whatever. I don't judge.
Yeah, or whatever. In general, people bringing your people home.
There you go.
There you
go. Look how quickly she made you politically correct, Dex.
Oh, I'm so good at it though. For somebody,
are you?
I think so. I hadn't had a slip up yet. But yeah, no, man. I do more trolling of like the town folk here on Facebook than I do messing stuff up. So
you can't get into much trouble in Mississippi online. So I think you're good.
They have electricity.
Well, yeah.
It's when you start getting outside the family. That's why I always get nervous when Roy starts putting stuff on Instagram because I never know what's going to come out of his mouth. We've talked to Rich Froning about this. He had the same fear with his dad. You know,
Oh,
he
yeah.
can't control what he puts on there. You know,
No, he's a rock star there now.
yeah, I think, but I think that's got to be the goal for your girl someday. You want to have the same worry about you, and I know mine probably already worry about me.
1,000%. I have to stay scary. I have to learn how to shoot guns and learning how to choke people. So
you don't know how to shoot guns?
You know, the accent tells you I hunt and fish and all that stuff. I don't do any country things.
You know, this is O'Roy's specialty, right?
Oh, that's not true. I can fish. I do love fishing. My adult ADD cannot handle sitting in the woods at 30 degrees and just being quiet for a long time to shoot something. Will I eat your deer meat? Absolutely. I'll eat every bit of it.
Absolutely.
And I'll go fishing all day. That's why I can't wait for the girls to go fishing. They can start trying to cast it out and hook me or something. But it'll be fun times. Do fishing. Hunting can't do. So we got to stay scary. And you have a grown one already. You can give me the tips. I just assume you have to stay scary for a long time.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had to be scary with boyfriends ever. Like, it's actually the opposite. You just teach your girls. You just teach your girls to do the right thing, and you don't have to worry about the boys. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I've also instilled in both my girls that, you know, if you ever need dad to come whoop somebody's ass, I will be right by your side. Let's go. I am team my kid. If they hate somebody, I hate that bitch. Like, that's just the way it works.
She was wild, bro. That's so funny.
I agree with that. I actually hate like the scary dad stereotype. Actually,
no, I do. Oh, so this is not me like doing the shotgun thing. This is staying scary. So you don't have to be weird. I never went to a girl's house as a teenager and like her dad was jacked, and I was like, I'm not gonna be nice to her because I've seen you now.
Yeah. Right. As opposed to like, oh, I'm gonna sit here with my shotgun. Any boys that come around,
I'm gonna tell my dad, and then the guy said, "Yeah, tell him I'll beat his ass in your front yard." I don't want to be that.
Right. Yeah, no. I just I feel like I prefer, like John said, like you teach your girls how to do it right. Like if they ever need you, they got you.
Yeah. No.
But being the like shotgun. Yeah. But being the like shotgun across my lap, like no boys better come around here. Like that doesn't instill like good relationship building in your kids. It doesn't show that you trust them and their own judgment. And it always, I don't know, like little girls especially need reinforcement that like relationships are good and okay. And that stereotype like totally fucked up our generation. So I'm glad that you guys aren't like that.
The little girl books I've read, it's terrifying. So I read Strong Dad, Strong Daughter, or Strong Father, Strong Daughter, and it was a lady that's a psychologist wrote it, and it was just like her dealings with girls their whole lives, and then like present dad versus absent dad and all this stuff unpacked. It is terrifying.
Yeah.
Which is like it's weird. Her talking about like 30-plus-year-old women, and then backtracking it to like seeds planted from just like things you don't realize. Super scary. So
yeah. What's it called? Say it again. The title.
Strong Father, Strong Daughters. D-Rob actually gave it to me. Derek Robinson.
I read it. I haven't finished it, but it's really good. It's called To Raise a Boy. I think I might have talked about it on the show before, and it's sort of similar. It's like a New York Times journalist who was doing a whole bunch of research on just all that stuff, like really important things to talk about, how to raise a kid right and what boys deal with and what you don't talk about. And it was kind of written at the height of the Me Too movement. So it was like a lot of that, but it was also a lot of like boys have this type of pressure on them too that no one talks about. And so there's boys on the other side of that type of issue as well. And it was just, my mind is blown. Highly recommend to any parents out there. It's a really good one.
Yeah, boys are crazy.
Anyway.
Oh, my kids are grown, so I'm done raising them. They're on their own.
You don't have to deal with any of that. That's amazing.
No, I'm just paying for school now. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Paying for school. That's all you can do. All right, guys. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
First time having Dex on. Dex,
thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for joining.
I didn't have to crash this thing in the comments. That's my usual move if I catch people going live.
You're always welcome to crash it in the comments. We're totally good. No, but I really appreciate the athlete's insight. I mean, that's helpful because, Niki and I are, we have strong opinions, but Yeah.
No, I'm the same way.
Right.
I'm just happened to. I really want to see how long we can stretch this thing out. I thought, I don't know. I felt real old out there in the 2 weeks after. I'm just looking forward to that 35 to 39 year. That's what we're waiting on.
There you
Coming up,
go. There
baby.
you go. Almost
Coming up.
there.
Okay,
Almost there.
well, I'm gonna have a late birthday. My birthday's right after the games, so I'm gonna have like a full 35 year. Like Sam's was perfect. Qualified, turned 35 right after the qualification. Like so before the games, and you're legal. I was like, damn it. So that's what we're waiting on.
Well, you got a little time, so start loading up on the PEDs now. By the time you get there, you can cycle off. You'll have big man boobs because of it. It'll be great.
Yeah, can't wait. It'll be
And
great.
probably
See you
3
guys
kinds
there.
of cancer. That's
Yeah.
it.
But
Just
it's these thrusters though. I got to do these thrusters.
yes, but you'll be very fast.
So
Yeah.
fast.
All right. Well, Dex, thanks for joining. Niki, great seeing you as always. Glad you're back from vacation.
Always.
Missed you.
Thank
As
you.
always.
Miss you too.
And-
yeah.
It's still light out here. I'll go outside and do things now.
I know.
Up in the pool.
Why am I the only one not embarrassed about the room he's in? You guys are just like covering everything up with your backdrops.
This is my silk sheet room.
I love it.
Because you have like a legitimate nice room. When I get in my new house, I'm gonna have like an actual space for podcasting that's not in front of like. If I move my hands real fast, you can see
A
all the
garage.
laundry.
It'll be the
Right.
garage. It'll be the garage.
We'll get you a green screen. You'll be all set.
Yeah.
You'll be killing it. All right, cool guys. Well, great seeing you. For everyone listening, we appreciate you guys joining the show as always, and we will chat with you guys